Hello everybody, how you doing on this wonderful day? I really want to take some time to talk about some robots, to just talk about some things that I love on this day where I desperately need to distract myself from the fact that I'm getting over food poisoning. I wonder how many times I'm gonna go poop while I'm making this. It's probably a lot. So it's looking like 'tis the season for Masterpiece Megatrons, with Mate Toys and DX9 throwing their hats in their rings, with Despotron and Mitron respectively, and a rumored Takara Masterpiece Megatron on the way. We are so spoiled. But today I want to talk about the OG third-party Masterpiece Megatron, which is not an easy thing to say really fast. I want to talk about X-Transbots Apollyon. So, if I remember correctly, original receptions of this guy ranged from, oh my god, it's a piece of crap, to, oh my god, it's the greatest thing ever, to, oh my god, if you can't be with the one you love, love the one you're with, and I fit somewhere in the middle of those three. You see, my experience with third-party figures is scant at best, being the perpetually broke, incredibly frugal man that I am. I only have 3, because I tend not to want to spend a lot of money on things, and when I can avoid it, I do. So, the third-party figures that I do have were either gifts or things I've obtained in trade. So for the purposes of full disclosure, I just want to let you guys know that I did not spend a single cent on this guy. Is it going to color my perceptions of him? Change my opinions in any way? I don't know, maybe. But I just got to let you guys know. This guy's got a lot going on, and I really don't want to waste a lot of time talking about the things that I have almost no opinion on, so I'm going to get through the accessories real fast. He comes with a mace that he used in that one episode. He has that gun that he used in that other episode. He has that dumb helmet that he used in that other episode. And he comes with that sword that he used in that one movie where he straight up killed Optimus Prime. Prime, do you remember that one time when we fought and I used this sword? No. Me neither. But this helmet is pretty iconic, right? Right? Prime, where are you going? Stupidest thing I've ever done on camera. He has flaps on his chest that are definite Easter eggs to the original cartoon. Got the proto-spark right there. And this flap is mostly just to be replaced with some pockmark that I kept in the box. And lastly, and most certainly, is the only accessory that's going to live outside of its plastic and cardboard entombment. It's Megatron's good old-fashioned fusion cannon. It's good. It lights up. I didn't want to bother with that. I don't want it exploding on me. But let's get on to how this guy moves. Even though I never saw any of that cost personally, this guy easily goes for well over $100, so you better hope that he moves really freaking well. And he does move really freaking well. Everything that you'd expect from a Transformer of this size is here. There's nothing too outrageous, there's nothing too overly exciting. I mean, he's got the ankles, he's got the knees, he's got the waist, he's got the arms, he's got the head, stuff like that, with the only real problem being his outward shoulder movement. He cannot take a T-pose. I could talk about the good about this guy all day, but it really doesn't mean much if I don't point out the obvious bad things about it. First and foremost, these arms. These arms are so weak. Next is his bicep swivel. I barely ever use these, and for a while I thought they didn't actually exist, because there is a piece of plastic that just jams between this red piece and this silver piece. So you get almost nothing out of it. Now, individual results may vary, so this might be my problem alone, but this is just disappointing. I mean, it'll pop off the ball joint before it turns the bicep at all. Now I want to get real shallow about something. His head. It looks nice, and it moves fine, but then you realize that its up and down tilt is not from the top of the neck, but from the top of the shoulders. And that's super awkward when you're moving him up and down, and it just doesn't look natural. It's, instead of doing this, it's doing this. And to make this matter baffling in all regard, there is a pinhole right there, suggesting that there is a pin that goes right through his head, right where his neck should tilt. And it doesn't. It doesn't. And I've tried, and I don't want to force it because I don't want to break something. But to balance that out, this guy has literally the best hands I've ever had the pleasure of playing with. Able to take on any shape that you could even imagine doing with your own hands. But they are really thin and kind of small, so fingers crossed I don't snap them one day. So now it's time to talk about the absolute worst thing about Apollyon's robot mode, and that are his hips. And it's not how they move, because, you know, they move just fine. They've got the skirts that get out of the way. They go all the way. It's how they connect. When you transform him, his hips move from this position to that position, and then everything closes up around it. And you'd think it just pegs right in, but it stays put. But no! You'd be wrong, because, God, I have to disassemble this thing in like 3 different ways in order to show this off. So in here, there are these pegs. Let's move everything out of the way. There are these pegs, and these pegs are on little swivels. They're on a hinge. And so you put them up. This is not going to look good. You put them up, you close this, and in theory, they're supposed to stay put while you plug this in. And that's the theory, but you'd be dead wrong to think that that's how it actually works. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to peg this back on, and these just pop right back in place. And if you don't use these to transform this guy, these legs will not stay together. Now that I'm done talking about the things that are really superficial and that I can easily get over, I want to move on to the real issue with this guy. The thing that is the biggest problem amongst everything involved with Apollyon. And no, it's not his leg kibble, because in light of what I'm going to do next, this is paltry. This is nothing. This is negligible. Because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to transform this guy. And this thing is going to take like 40 minutes. I'm not going to do it on camera. I'm not going to do it on camera and cut it out. I'm not going to have little clips or little bits of me getting frustrated. I'm going to go into the living room. I'm going to put on an episode of Gotham. And that is going to be my next hour. Because this is a task. This is a task that should not be this hard. I'll see you in a bit. So I've interrupted my episode of Gotham to point out two things that I just cannot stand about this transformation. One, it is so much easier to take the arms off. You don't have to deal with these things swinging around on this bar all the time to try to get this guy to transform. Second, and way more infuriating because there is no fix to it. So this is what the leg is supposed to look like when it's all flush and everything's ready. But here's the thing, if you ever get Apollyon, don't do this before you collapse the leg. No idea why. Absolutely cannot tell why. But if you try to collapse the leg while all this is flush and connected, it jams. I have no idea why this happens. I have just poured over this for tens of minutes trying to figure this out. Not just now, but I cannot understand why this gets caught. There is nothing that suggests that anything moves into that space while everything is all collapsed. Especially because it gets filled by the leg. So it's really frustrating when I forget that step, because that means I have to undo the leg, collapse it, do the leg again, and then smush them together. After the white knuckle ball leg this thing gives you to get it to gun mode, what you get is, I don't know, is it accurate? I don't know guns. I mean, it looks like what I think a Walther P38 looks like, and that's good enough for me, but I think there's probably a lot of gun aficionados who are also Transformers fans that would have a serious problem with this. First, like, the panel lines are just atrocious, breaking up every little bit of detail on this thing. And the thing that makes it so much worse is that nothing stays pegged. Everything will pop free at some point. So if you are looking for a third-party Masterpiece Megatron just to keep in gun mode, this is not the one. Absolutely, I do not recommend Apollyon to be your go-to gun mode Masterpiece Megatron, because this just doesn't work. I have tried and tried and tried and tried, and I don't know if this is just my copy, but this does not close seamlessly. This does not close seamlessly. These panels, these that are the hip skirts, these pop off constantly. This never stays flush. These panels constantly pop out. This is not a good gun mode. But it sure is fun. There is something quite visceral about just sitting here just pew, 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 pew. That, I can't get over that. That feeling of being a kid and like having a really big bitchin' Nerf gun and just sitting there and just pretending to shoot your friends. It brings back that. Let's get all of his bits together because, my God, does he come with some bits. Just bits all over the place. Yeah. When you put all of his stuff together, he forces me to back up to get all of it in frame. This, just all that fun factor that I talked about just a little bit ago, amplifies it by 10. And then you get the fun orange cap, so everybody knows you're just having fun. This is pretty freaking great, except for one thing. This part will disconnect if you look at it wrong. And I know there's an extra piece in the box that's a replacement, but I don't know if who I got this from actually did that or not. So either way, I'm going to complain about it. Yep. Now that I'm done tearing Apollyon down for his mechanical and engineering issues, gotta admit, he is a gorgeous megalomaniac. Really all I'd ever want out of a Masterpiece Megatron is a guy who can stand on a shelf and look menacing, be silver, and vaguely gun-ish. And this does that in spades. If you want to sum this up entirely, Apollyon is a very solid, passable, very decently posable, wonderful toy. But he has so many small issues. This is a straw that broke the camel's back situation for probably just about everyone who has given up on Apollyon. And if you want to head over to the DX9 and Make Toys Camp to get your own Megatron, that's fine. You do you. But me, I am staying with the guy that I got for free. And with that, I think I've said everything I want to say about Apollyon. I mean, he's not the best figure in any regard, but he in no way should be discounted when you're talking about third-party Masterpiece Megatrons. Easily worthy of your attention, and honestly, if you're looking to get a Megatron, but you don't know which one to get, just get the one you think looks prettiest. Because really, isn't it outward beauty that matters the most? Isn't it? I think so. Thank you all so much for sitting through me blabbing about Apollyon for a while. This has been a very interesting experience. I didn't have much prepared. I didn't expect to take a day off, so I didn't have a script or any notes for this review. And I constantly kept having to get up to go use the bathroom or go let the dog out or just everything that I kind of needed to do. So this was a mess. This was a mess. So I hope that it is just coherent. And maybe if it's real bad, you'll never see it. So, fingers crossed! Bye! Prime!